Hi, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to another segment of Wednesdays with Wendy. I want to apologize because I had to push this back about 2 hours, but it is recorded. So if you are not able to log in and watch it live with me tonight, you can watch it tomorrow or the next day. But I still wanted to honor my commitment to come in, even though it's late. It's 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So my name is Wendy Garvin Mayo. I am a nurse practitioner. I'm the host of this community, this beautiful, engaged community. I totally love our community. And tonight we're going to talk about caregiver burnout. And this is a topic that I'm very, very passionate about. Hi, Angela. How are you? I'm very passionate about caregiver burnout, and not in the midst of COVID, but just in general, right? Caregiver burnout, we can experience it at any time. I'm also a caregiver. I'm a nurse practitioner and I still practice. So I take care of patients all the time. So this is something I have to personally be aware of as well. Um, Hello, it says Facebook from Omaha. Hello, nice to have you here. Um, but before I get into that, I wanted to let you all be the first ones to know that tomorrow is a really big day for Shape Partners. Tomorrow is our 1 year anniversary. It's 1 year since we started this virtual platform and community for cancer caregivers. So I am just so excited that we get to celebrate that. It happened so quick. Right when the pandemic hit, I was moved to really start being an advocate for cancer caregivers in particular, based on my personal experience with my aunt who had a glioblastoma. Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. And my aunt being her caregiver, just from that experience, as well as from my professional experience being a nurse practitioner in supporting caregivers in the hospital and in the clinic setting. So I felt moved to really start Shape Partners, start this platform as support for cancer caregivers during the pandemic, because so much was going on. So many patients were not able to get their treatment. Surgeries were delayed. Treatments were delayed. There was so much going on. So in my heart, I felt it was the right thing to do to start Shape Partners now. Now, Shape Partners in general was an idea I had, and I said, oh, I'll start it when I retire, whenever that is. I don't know when I'll be able to retire. But when the pandemic hit, I felt moved to start it. So tomorrow is our 1 year anniversary, and I'm going to come on and really just tell the story and the journey and release a video. So you all are the first ones to know that. So I wanted to share that with the community before we kind of get into caregiver burnout. So I'm super excited about everything that has happened and how things just really unfolded with Shape Partners. But you'll hear more about that tomorrow, because I'm going to come on and do a live and really just tell the story of how things kind of unfolded, evolved, and all the partnerships and all the caregivers that we are supporting and helping. And I just love it. It just really energizes me personally. So now to get onto our topic of caregiver burnout, like I said before, it's something that we need to be aware of. So what is caregiver burnout? It's really a prolonged exhaustion, right? So it could be emotional, it could be physical, it could be mental. I do have some notes here because I don't want to forget anything. But it's really prolonged stress. And as you all know, I'm really big on stress management because stress impacts our health. And if we're not healthy, nothing else matters, right? And as caregivers, we need to be really at our optimal. Our health needs to be optimal in order for us to really take care of our loved ones. So burnout is really when there's an imbalance, right? So I think of supply and demand. When the demand is so high, you feel like you don't have supply. So you can really experience burnout. So stress is essential. It's essential to really be in tune with your stress levels, right? And then I know being caregivers with things changing and not only being a caregiver, but just with life in general, right? You can definitely be stressed, but we have to be aware of when we are, tipping off to burnout. We're going to go over some signs and symptoms of burnout so you can really do a self-assessment of yourself to see if you meet any of those criteria and if we need to do something about it. So why is burnout important? And I love this part. This is why we're talking about burnout. This is why it's important, because it really decreases your productivity. It decreases your energy. It makes you feel helpless. It makes you feel hopeless. It makes you feel resentment, right? And it can also put you at risk for illness. So those are really important factors. If you have any of those factors, it ultimately decreases quality of life. Right. And many of you are taking care of your loved ones and their quality of life matters, but your quality of life matters as well. So this is why we're talking about the topic. And I know, since this whole pandemic started, everyone's talking about self-care. Are you doing X? Are you doing Z? And people are like rolling their eyes, because people talk about self-care, but self-care is essential. It's essential. Because that's how we sustain ourselves, right? Who are we if we don't have health or we're not sustaining our health, right? If we're unhealthy, we're no good to no one. Not good to yourself, not good to your loved one, not good to your colleague. You're no good to anyone, right? So it's really, really, really important. And I talk about, wellness, really trying to assess all dimensions of wellness, right? So your social wellness, your financial wellness, your physical wellness, right? Your social wellness, who's in your circle. So really doing an inventory of that every so often is essential. So I want to just read a couple of signs of burnout. And if you can relate to any of these, please put a 1 in the chat. So you are at risk for burnout if every day is a bad day. So if you wake up every day and it's all just negative, it's all bad, then you're at risk for burnout. If you really don't care for your work life or your home life, it seems like a waste of time. You're kind of just going through the motions. And sometimes we get caught up in that cycle of just doing things just to do it, right? But if you're doing it and you really don't care about it, there's no passion there, then you're definitely at risk. If you feel exhausted all the time, and that kind of goes back to that energy, if you feel drained all the time, right? You wake up feeling tired, you go to bed feeling tired. That's not good. And if you do things and it's like mind numbing, you're just doing it just to do it, right? You have like no passion behind it. It's dull and you feel overwhelmed, either you feel numb or you feel overwhelmed. I'm doing it and I'm overwhelmed, but I'm still doing it, right? So definitely that is a risk factor. Or you feel like you're not making a difference. And that's a big one for me, because if you feel like you're not making a difference, we got to talk about purpose and quality of life, right? Because I talked about the importance of having goals despite being a caregiver, because you matter. You still matter, even though you are a primary caregiver of your loved one or you're a former caregiver. Goals are important because it really helps you align with your purpose. And we're all here for a purpose, whether we know it or not. But sometimes it's important to sit down and really try to understand, what is your purpose? Are you living in your purpose? Are you aligned with your purpose? Are you doing things that align with your purpose, right? And then sometimes we need to realign, readjust, right? But if we don't take time to do that assessment, we don't know if we need to like readjust. Okay. So ways to overcome burnout, if you do have burnout, is really learn how to reduce stress in the moment. And stress is a normal part of life, but in the moment is very important, because what happens, like with anything else, as you let it go, it starts to build, right? And that prolonged stress, chronic stress, impacts our health. And we kind of went over stress-related illnesses such as anxiety, depression, diabetes, high blood pressure, infertility, impotence, right, for men. And most importantly, our immune system becomes suppressed. So then we're at risk for all kind of viral and bacterial things, right? And we need our immune systems to be functioning at the highest level, especially with COVID around, right? So that chronic stress is something we definitely don't want. So handling things in the moment is important. And if you're not in the moment, just put some time aside, so for me personally, I like to process when I'm in the shower. So every day I process what's going on. And that's where I, decide if I need to shift or realign. Like, what am I doing? Is it aligned with my purpose? Is it something that I feel good about, right? So that's my time to really think through what's going on and am I aligned? So that's one way I kind of manage my stress. And I also do yoga. Another way you can overcome burnout is managing your thoughts and feelings. So the only way you can manage them is if you recognize them. So really having awareness of what thoughts are you having? What feelings are you having? So acknowledging them, knowing it's okay, and seeing if, at least some feelings that I can work through, right? And being caregivers, depending on your situation, your feelings can be all over the place, at a drop of a dime. So I think just being aware and honoring them, and also knowing when you need to reach out for help or assistance. Yes, Angela, your immune system is definitely a huge factor. Another thing is motivate yourself to take the necessary steps to relieve stress. So stress management, everyone knows, do yoga, do meditation, do all these things to manage stress, but we don't do it. So really being intentional with, stress management is essential. And I know people say, being mindful is a big thing, right? So being mindful is a good thing if you have really good positive thoughts, right? We don't want someone who's having negative thoughts to be mindful of those thoughts, if that makes sense. So you want to try to reframe and see the positives, or change your negative thoughts into positive thoughts, right? Because there's always something positive in what's going on, and we can't always see that, right? We can't always see that in the time, but really giving ourselves time and space and distance from the situation can help us gain a different perspective. And with time, not saying you'll do it one time and everything, is positive. So it definitely takes time, but really just giving yourself the time and space. Those are my two words. Time and space are essential for everything. When we don't give ourselves time and space, we get wrapped up in some things, and we don't know how we got wrapped up or how to even unravel ourselves. So giving yourself time and space is essential. The next one is rediscover joy and meaning that makes your life worthwhile. So when was the last time you felt happy? When was the last time you laughed, like a really gut-busting laugh? When was that? What made you do that? You need more of that in your life. So really just kind of reflecting on, when did I last have a good laugh? When did I last feel really good? Right? And make space and time for those things, right? If it's talking to someone, if it's reading something. So really do an assessment of what you need, what made you feel that joy, that sense of happiness, right? And create that for yourself every now and then. And the last one is increase your overall health. So what does health mean to you? For me, being a medical professional, I've seen both sides, right? So how we live now is really, really, really important to our health. What we're eating, if we're moving, if we're, stress is a big one. We just kind of went over stress-related illnesses, but really making that a priority, because many times when we are unhealthy, it's very hard to get healthy. Right? So I always say you could be proactive about your health or reactive. And when you're reactive, then you're following orders from someone like myself, being a nurse practitioner, where you have to do these things in order to live, right? So when you're proactive, you're preventing that. So two different end of the spectrum, right? So being proactive is essential. And burnout, stress is something we can definitely manage with practice. With practice, we can manage it, because we don't want to be forced to be healthy, right? And then, some of us may already have pre-existing mental or even physical diagnoses or illnesses that we need to take care of. So if we're already dealing with diabetes or high blood pressure, stress and burnout it's not good for that, right? It's not good for that. And on the other end of being unhealthy, it is really end of life, right? And that's why we when I say we, me, right? That's why we really promote health and wellness and self-care, right? So you put into the perspective of health. Being unhealthy is not a good thing. And being unhealthy, you can't always come back from that. So where you are now, you want to stabilize where you are, even if you have high blood pressure, even if you have diabetes. Then we start talking about management. Is your blood pressure managed? Are you taking your medications, right? Are you checking your blood sugars if you have diabetes? What's in your diet? So then we can start unpacking that stuff. But, we want you to be healthy so you can be here for yourself, for your loved one, for your kids, for your grandkids, for your friends. We want you to be in this world so you can live out your purpose, because we all have a purpose and we all have a gift. I truly believe that we all have a gift that we need to share with the world. But if we're not here, we can't share that gift with the world. So that's one of my motivations for doing what I do and being here and creating this community and space for cancer caregivers in particular, because I'm passionate about it. I know you all can do it. We all can do it. Even for myself, I still need to be proactive in maintaining my health, right? And it's not easy, but I make it a priority because I want to continue to share my gifts with the world, with you all, right? Being in this community. So that's all I have tonight. If anything resonated with you, let me know. If you have some of the risk factors that I mentioned and you want to talk about it, please DM me. Let me know if you want to talk. I'm here. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to support you all, and there are community members in here who are here to support. And I see the community engaging and supporting each other, and it just feels so good to me. And there are also a lot of events in the community that can help with stress management. We have the cancer caregiver support groups, we have yoga, we have Tai Chi, we have so many things now in this community because of our beautiful partnerships, with different organizations who have invited us to join them. So please take advantage of the events and support in the community. And again, if you need anything, any resources, have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And with that, I'll leave you. Have a good night, and thank you so much for watching. See you next week.